My wife told her friends, he's too soft. Now she misses the man who used to care. I stood outside our bedroom door, frozen, as my wife laughed with her friends on speakerphone. Her voice dropped to that conspiratorial tone. It's exhausting having to be the one with all the backbone in this relationship. 6 years of marriage, the same quality she once said she loved, my gentleness, my consideration, was now a flaw to be mocked over wine with her friends. I quietly stepped away to the garage, not to fix anything, but because I needed somewhere to think without revealing I'd heard every damning word. A realization dawned. When was the last time she'd prioritized my happiness over her convenience? I couldn't remember a single instance. That night at dinner, I watched her with new eyes. She talked about her day, complained about coworkers, asked almost nothing about mine. After dinner, when she suggested I clean up while she watched her show, like every other night, I heard myself say something unexpected. Actually, I have some work to finish. Why don't we both clean up tomorrow? I didn't phrase it as a question. She looked startled, but didn't argue. I made a decision. I wouldn't confront her about what I'd heard. Not yet. First, I would test a theory. Was I really too soft? Or had she simply grown comfortable taking advantage of my nature? The next morning, instead of preparing her coffee and breakfast as usual, I made only enough for myself. Where's mine? I wasn't sure when you'd be down. Everything's there if you want to make some. I'm heading out early. Might be late coming home. Don't wait up. The next few days, I started noticing patterns. How she'd text me during work with household tasks she could easily handle. How she'd make plans without checking my schedule. How my opinions were dismissed in favor of hers. A week later, we were invited to a dinner party at her friend's house. The same friend who'd been on that call. Throughout dinner, she interrupted me whenever I shared an opinion, quickly correcting me. In the past, I would have smiled it off. Not tonight. Each time she interrupted, I simply stopped mid-sentence and took a sip of my drink, letting uncomfortable silence fill the space. By the third time, people noticed. My wife grew increasingly flustered. On the drive home, what was that about tonight? I didn't like how you kept cutting me off. What? I don't do that. You did it 4 times. I counted. You're being ridiculous. No, that's how you've decided our conversation should flow. You speak, I listen. You interrupt, I yield. Not anymore. When we got home, instead of apologizing, I went upstairs. Later, she was waiting on our bed. Are you upset with me? I'm reassessing some things. What does that mean? When was the last time you asked what I wanted and actually followed through? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Silence stretched as she searched for an example and came up empty. I'm sleeping in the guest room tonight. Over the next 2 weeks, I rejoined my old gym. Took on a leadership role at work I'd previously avoided. Made plans with friends I'd neglected. Each time, she reacted with shock. You've changed, she said one night. I don't even recognize you. You're right. I've remembered who I was before I started shrinking myself. The question is whether you can accept this version of me, or if you only wanted the doormat. The word hung between us. 3 weeks after overhearing that call, she made a reservation at my favorite restaurant. When I arrived, she was nervous in a way I hadn't seen in years. After our orders arrived, I've been thinking about us. I didn't realize how much I was taking you for granted. Which parts do you miss? The way things were, or the things I did for you? She flinched. I'd be lying if I said I didn't miss having someone who always put me first. But I see now what it cost you. When did you start seeing my consideration as weakness? Her face went pale. Is that what you think? I heard you talking to your friends. You said I was too soft, that you wished I had more backbone. You heard that? Every word. She pressed her fingers to her lips. I wasn't mocking you. I was venting. It was stupid. Wasn't it the truth though? The kind that only comes out when people think no one's listening? Tears spilled. It was insecurity talking. Instead of addressing things with you, I complained to my friends like a coward. What was the real issue? I was afraid of how much I depend on you, of how good you are, how patient. It scared me to need someone that much, so I tried to find fault with it. Her answer surprised me. Of all the explanations I'd considered, insecurity about her own dependence hadn't been one. If I continue to put myself first sometimes, to have my own life outside of us, can you handle that version of me? Her hand found mine. I more than handle it. I respect it. I need it.